First news came from Garden Grove, California. News headline, 40,000 to 50,000 residents evacuated as aerospace facility chemical tank nears catastrophic failure. The 34,000-gallon storage tank of methyl methacrylate at GKN Aerospace overheated and began venting toxic vapors, triggering one of Orange County's largest evacuation orders. Fire officials said a broken valve created a dangerous situation where crews feared either a massive spill or a possible explosion. Schools were closed, shelters filled up, and emergency crews worked nonstop to cool the tank. No injuries were reported, but the danger remained active through May 24th.
All right, welcome back. In Southern California, 40,000 people are under evacuation orders over concerns this tank containing a highly toxic and flammable chemical might explode. Orange County authorities have been working to cool the tank after it started overheating Thursday, but officials are now saying the tank is not cooling and has risen to 90 degrees. The aerospace manufacturing facility where the storage vessel is located is about 5 miles from Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm. Both parks are outside the evacuation zone and for now remain open.
Yesterday afternoon, I did report that we had some positive intel and that the tanks were stable and we were keeping the temperature cool, and actually we thought we were reducing it a little bit. Unfortunately, I had to say thought. Those temperatures we are doing is via a drone doing readings on the external of the vessel. Unfortunately, I do have to report that the temperature was 90 degrees. Yesterday morning, it was 77 degrees when we backed out.
Next news came from New York. News headline, 1 dead, 36 injured in double explosion at Staten Island Shipyard. Historic World War II-era dock in flames. A fire broke out inside a Staten Island shipyard building once tied to World War II-era ship production. During rescue operations, a second powerful explosion injured firefighters and emergency personnel, leaving 1 civilian dead and dozens of injured. Officials said firefighters were responding to reports of trapped workers when the blast sent shockwaves through the area. Authorities are still investigating the cause of the explosions.
A massive fire and explosion at a shipyard on Staten Island. 16 total injuries now confirmed, including 2 firefighters, according to the FDNY. This is happening in the Mariners Harbor neighborhood on Staten Island's North Shore. Andrew Ramos joins us live from the scene with an update now. Andrew.
Well, Jessica, still a very fluid situation here as first responders really get a handle of the situation of what has really become a major emergency response. Now, I can tell you just by counting, there are about 30 fire trucks here on the scene at this hour. Now, what we do know, as you mentioned, at least 16 injuries have been reported, most of them firefighters. Now, the scene is concentrated on a shipyard on Richmond Terrace. Now, this is between Lockwood and Andros Avenues. Officials say the call came in at around 3:25 this afternoon when NYPD and FDNY responded. They found a barge on fire at the site. Now,
Next news came from Wisconsin. News headline, Wisconsin green card holder detained by ICE after family trip over a 10-year-old marijuana charge. Everly Wahongi, a longtime Wisconsin resident and legal permanent resident, was detained by ICE after returning from a family trip to New Zealand. Officials cited a marijuana-related felony plea from 2014, despite her having traveled internationally several times before without issues. Her family said they have not seen her since April. The case highlights a sharp increase.
A major shakeup is coming for green card applicants here in the United States, and this is important. The Trump administration says anybody in the U.S. who wants a green card has to return to their home country to apply. DHS says the new policy will allow immigration, quote, to function as the law intended instead of incentivizing loopholes. But with 500,000 people applying for green cards from here in the U.S. each year, critics say it's just Trump's latest immigration crackdown.
Next news came from New Jersey. News headline, Atlantic City Housing Authority is broke and under federal investigation. Residents left with mold, no heat, broken plumbing. The Atlantic City Housing Authority, which manages housing for hundreds of low-income residents, reportedly ran out of money while facing a federal investigation. Residents described living conditions involving mold, broken plumbing, heating failures, and pest infestations. Federal investigators are examining allegations involving millions of dollars in contracts awarded without proper bidding. Officials say urgent repairs are needed, but funding is running out.
Days after closing a major deal to protect tenants, the Little Rock Housing Authority got a jarring letter from the federal government. It said the Department of Housing and Urban Development was taking over. The agency's been considered trouble for years, but the agency's outgoing director is now questioning the timing.
Dig out of a deep hole from financial struggles, low performance scores, and federal scrutiny. This week, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development sent a 34-page letter to the agency highlighting the group's failure to meet key requirements during a recovery period. Now it's looking to take control.
Next news came from Mississippi Gulf Coast. News headline, Mississippi Gulf beaches plagued by sewage-laced water. 550,000 gallons of wastewater spilled in a river this month alone. Several Mississippi beaches were placed under water safety advisories after testing found dangerous bacteria levels linked to sewage contamination. Officials reported hundreds of thousands of gallons of wastewater spilling into nearby waterways during the month. State authorities are investing millions into aging infrastructure, but admitted there is no quick fix. Tourists continue visiting beaches, often unaware of contamination warnings.
And if you're planning to go swimming on the lake or along the Mississippi Gulf Coast this weekend, this Memorial Day weekend, there are some precautions you do need to be aware of. So listen up. Both Lake Pontchartrain and the Mississippi Gulf Coast have advisories. The beaches are not closed, but testing is showing there is a higher than normal count of bacteria that can make you sick. Officials say all the recent rainfall is likely to blame. Heavy rain can wash bacteria from human and animal waste into the water. These maps from the Pontchartrain Conservancy and the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality show the areas of concern.
If you were to swallow a lot of seawater and you swallow a lot of it, you could get sick. If you were to cut yourself on, say, some coral or a rock on the beach or underwater, they could get into the wound. And as a general rule of thumb, if you're perfectly healthy and you're relatively young, you're probably more immune to some of the more serious complications.
Next news came from Shreveport, Louisiana. News headline, Shreveport sending mandatory water quality violation notice. City says water is safe, but the pump that failed was covered up for a year. Residents in Shreveport are receiving mandatory notices over a water quality violation connected to a failed treatment plant pump in 2025. The malfunction caused a spike in disinfectant byproducts linked to potential long-term health concerns. City officials insist the water is currently safe, but federal law required residents to be informed. The issue comes while the city also faces complaints over water billing practices.
The Shreveport water system has had issues for decades in terms of infrastructure, and the state has even put them on notice. Now, KSLA Investigates brought you the first alert about an administrative order from the Louisiana Department of Health that was issued last year, requiring the city to make some major changes to its system. And after several deficiencies were noted and cited between 2021 and 2024, the LDH Office of Public Health ordered Shreveport to repair its flow meters, its sensors, and actuators, the parts that help control the flow of water. The city also had to provide dedicated standby power at pump facility sites in the event of a power outage. And by this April 2026, LDH ordered the city to finish repairing its elevated water tanks. Now, of course, the city has been working with the state to try and get a timeline of when these things can actually be replaced and fixed. And we did reach out to LDH today to see if any other orders have been issued since early 2025.
Next news came from Nationwide. News headline, 121,000 children's squeeze toys recalled after asbestos found in sand filling. Sold at Walmart since 2025. Federal safety officials recalled more than 121,000 children's squeeze toys after tests reportedly found tremolite asbestos inside the sand filling. The toys were sold nationwide at Walmart and Aldi stores from 2025 into 2026. Officials warned that if the toys rupture and particles are inhaled, they could pose serious health risks. Parents were instructed to stop use immediately and safely seal the products before requesting refunds.
Squeeze toys sold at Walmart are being recalled because the sand inside may contain asbestos, which is toxic. The Orb Funkies are shaped like monkeys and come in several colors. They're also sold at Ollie's Bargain Outlet stores nationwide between February 2025 and last month. No illnesses have been reported. The company offering refunds. You can go to WGNTV.com for more information.
Next news came from Texas. News headline: ICE agents swarmed a polling site in San Antonio days before a runoff election. Mayor writes letter to DHS. ICE agents carried out a law enforcement action near an active polling location in San Antonio just days before a major election runoff. The incident sparked concerns among community leaders and city officials who worried it could discourage lawful voters from showing up. Authorities later clarified the arrest involved a person with an outstanding warrant and not an active voter. The mayor formally requested federal officials avoid similar operations near polling sites moving forward.
Voting is currently underway right now. However, the people who were here today wanting to vote are now asking if it will be safe for them to return and cast their ballots in the future, provided that ICE does not show up here again. The individual who was observed sitting inside of this blue pickup truck was officially taken into custody by federal agents representing ICE. He was subsequently apprehended while he was located in the parking lot area of the Las Palmas Public Library.
While I was in the middle of parking, a truck pulled up right behind me and parked on the other side of me. It was blue.
Diana Castillo was an eyewitness to the arrest, but more than anything else, she is strongly denouncing the actions taken by ICE at a location where people are currently casting their ballots.
It's in intimidation against the vote. Now we have to carry our passports or whatever to be safer because they're going to take us away. No more intimidation, right?
The presence of these ICE agents right here at this polling station is entirely unprecedented, and frankly, it is highly irregular. It has already drawn the immediate and urgent attention of a national organization that is fully dedicated to protecting the fundamental civil rights of all our voters.
Next news came from Dallas, Texas. News headline: every single senior at Dallas all-male school got into college and collectively earned $15 million in scholarships. All 54 graduating seniors at the Barack Obama Male Leadership Academy in Dallas were accepted into college, and every student earned scholarship money. Together, the class secured more than $15 million in scholarships to universities across the country. School leaders credited long-term mentorship and keeping students together over several years as a major reason for success. The school has quietly built one of the strongest graduation records in the region.
There is an absolutely great graduation story to tell you about at a Dallas ISD school.
All 54 seniors at the Barack Obama Male Leadership Academy earned college scholarships, and this has a total of more than $15 million. Fox 4's Sean Rabb went to the Academy in Oak Cliff today and brings us this great story. Sean?
Yeah, don't you just love this kind of story? Really good, and had a great visit with the principal, Derek Thomas. Two of the young men who are going to experience higher education on full ride scholarships. I want to show you some pictures now. These are the 54 young men who are this year's graduating class at the Obama Leadership Male Academy. Brandon Hawkins on scholarship to the University of Chicago on finance and real estate, and Angel Velasquez is the school's valedictorian. He's headed to Princeton, where he plans to study computational biology for bioinformatics. On scholarship to the University of Chicago with a focus on finance and real estate is Hawkins, both choosing career paths that'll lead them to help others based on their own life experiences.